Smith, the Toronto Star. Can you just speak to your team's toughness mentally? Like there were many times a lesser team would have folded tonight, and you talked about Kawhi's even-keeledness. Does that carry over in those circumstances as well?
Yeah, I mean, talk about his even-keeledness and talk about him making huge plays. And tonight he seemed to inspire us with some monster rebounds, right? Just out of nowhere when we, had either a bad possession or even a good possession that didn't go in, he'd fly in there and I thought he made some game-winning rebounds, and that has a lot to do with it too, Doug. But I think I'm probably, you were at the game, but it wasn't going that well, right? It seemed like a bit of a frustrating night, and we didn't really. I think we got a little frustrated in the first half, but we kind of regrouped at halftime and talked about let's just keep playing, man. Nobody's giving us this thing. We got to go take it ourselves. And I thought we did a really good job of that in the second half. Even again going down 15 or whatever we did, just kept on playing.
To Scott, who's in the middle.
Nick, Scott Stinson, National Post. Kawhi hit a three, got a favorable bounce with like 3 minutes left. He had missed his first 7 threes. Did you call that out of the timeout? And if so, what made you confident that the next one would go in?
And you know what? He was, well, probably better not say. I thought he had a couple really good looks that he had a couple in and out. And even that last one was like down and in and spun back out, which would have been good. But, he's online and he's got, great mechanics and backspin and all that stuff. So we were fortunate. I mean, it was a bounce of the ball, and we needed a bounce of the ball. It didn't seem like we were getting many, especially to start the game. Man, I was like, oh my goodness, all these things are rolling out. Not one of those nights tonight.
We'll go to Stephen, who's down on the right here.
Coach, I go back through the last couple of series. We've seen all through the regular season, offense came easy. You've been winning with defense, and not just defense that we saw earlier in here, like crushing defense, holding top-scoring teams to 90 points, 94 points. What's changed with the Raptors from the regular season to today?
Well, we're playing a lot harder. That's really it took us kind of one punch in the gut from the Orlando Magic to understand we better start playing a lot harder. And I think we came out in game 2 and you saw a totally different basketball team that started using their abilities to the best of their ability. And that's really the difference. Now, listen, we've learned and grown as well. Our communication, schemes, switching, blitzing, we've our rotations, contesting shots, all those things have been growing here since the start of the playoffs. And the other thing is there's some moments like stretches. We call them consecutive stops, and there's some stretches where it's darn hard to complete a pass against us, and that wears into a team after a while when you're up into them and you're denying and you're everybody's just that connected and playing that hard. But effort's really the answer to your question.
So we have a bunch of questions over here. We'll start with Michael Grange, please.
Nick, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Congratulations. You kind of touched on that there, but why is this journey, or what about this journey through 18 games has taught you about your team, and what do you think your team has kind of learned about itself, given how new it was, really?
Yeah, I mean, we've learned a lot, Michael. I think, I don't really, you'll know the stats, but I think we only had something like, 81 minutes or 121 minutes or something with like our guys, like with our starting lineup. 160. Still not very many, right? That's like, I can't do the math. It's less than 4 games. Anyway, so we did have some growth, to discover. And, I said this after the last series. I was worried that we drew Orlando because I thought they were the hottest and best team of the 5 through 8 seeds, but I also knew that if we could go play and beat a team that defended well and was executed well, that we would grow and get better. And then Philly was really good, man, super talented, like unbelievably talented, and that was a series that we had to go through some really highs and some really lows, and again, learned a little bit more about staying even keeled. We get our butts kicked, really badly in game 3, and it was all over in a lot of people's mind, and we just kind of said, you know what, every time we've done this all season long, we've bounced back the next night. So we and we did, and again, we had to really fight. They were great, and listen, this is a really good team here, right? To beat this team 4 times in a row, to me, is almost mind-boggling. This is a super deep, very well coached talent, a superstar, that causes all kinds of problems. So I don't know. I guess I'm more proud that we just kept growing and kept hanging in there and kind of always believed.
Going next door to Reed, right next to Michael. There.
Nick, Reed Forgrave, CBS Sports. Everyone talked about Fred's kid being born on Monday.
Yeah.
You had a kid born on Monday too. You've kept this emotional composure all week long. Could you pull back the curtain a little bit and just put me in your shoes over the past week of what this has been like for you, your family, and frankly for the city?
I mean, listen, I think that the biggest thing is if you try to limit the distractions, right? Certainly wasn't a distraction. It was a great moment, right, for me. But again, the rest of the distractions, I just try to focus in and, shut my door and turn my phone off and do the work to prepare and get the guys prepared and really manage their rest and energy to re-energize them in between each game. And we kind of kept adding to our game plan each and every night, of somebody else we were going to try to shake up or go after a little bit, and that was good. And I don't know, I think I told the team before the game, I said, I don't know a lot, but I know you guys have earned every bit of being in this game on your home floor, and they have been diligent, they've been smart, they've been really tough. That's it.
So we're going to go to Dan next. They're standing up on your
Hey,
left.
Nick, Dan Wecke with the Los Angeles Times. Last offseason, Masai makes a string of decisions that seismically change this team, changing a coach, trading a star. How did you guys, over the course of this year, kind of manage these big sort of earthquake-type situations? And obviously, if you could reflect on kind of that part of your job this season into getting to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was always kind of the long play or the long vision in mind, right? I think, I was always telling them that what I was most concerned with starting out the season was that we just tried to come together and tried to learn on a daily basis as best we could, that we weren't going to get caught up in a really bad preseason performance or even a really bad regular season performance and just try to bounce back and play a little better. And we weren't going to, go bonkers about winning a game, a big game on the road, whatever, at OKC or at, beating a good team on the road. So we just were trying to play the long, even with Kawhi, we wanted to ease him back in. We wanted to get to know him. We didn't want to go crazy trying to, worry too much about the regular season record. We wanted to play well, and we wanted a high seed, and we wanted home court, but we didn't ever make winning a set number of games or winning in general a priority. It was just let's keep figuring ourselves out, and let's just keep trying to get better and learn.
To John, who's sitting down at the back.
Coach John Schumann, NBA.com. What was special about Kyle Lowry's performance in this series, and what does it mean to you, having been here for a while, to see him succeed and sort of break through on this level?
Well, I think that the things he always does, I always say this, his natural instincts are to be a leader out there, right? And he shows it. I mean, he does it with his IQ and his not great knowledge of the game, but he shows it with tremendous toughness as well. That's his other kind of natural characteristic. He's blocking out guys twice his size. He's taking charges every game. He's just gonna fight, man, to win. He's a hell of a competitor, and that rubs off on guys. And I think, to me, again, he kept very level-headed. I think he kept very confident at all times as well, and I think that helped our team.
To Mark, who's down front here and to your left.
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you.
Mark Schwartz, ESPN. You know, I was thinking earlier tonight, these are not your older brothers, Raptors, the ones that would always lose in the conference final to LeBron James. Other than the obvious, what is it about this organization and about this group that got them over the hump? And secondly, what happens to Kawhi Leonard when the stage gets this big and the lights get this bright?
Well, I think first of all, I think you always, you know, to accomplish, you know, what we've done, winning the Eastern Conference is you got to really truly believe you can do it, right? And that was kind of my message from day one of training camp is like we got a good team here, we got good players, we got depth, we got a lot of things, and we gotta understand that there's a lot of good teams in the East, but we're right up there. So I think that belief, you know, started things, and I think we always kind of thought that. So that's a starting point. And Kawhi is like, I don't know how many more good things I can say about him, right? I mean, he's just so good, and again, I'm seeing a level of competitive greatness out of him. I mean, it's just his willing us to win, and him grabbing those rebounds and willing those shots in almost, it seems like, and going down and locking up somebody and taking the ball from them. It's what it is. It's great competitive desire.
The last question is going to come on your left here from Ian.
Hey, Coach. Ian Harrison, Associated Press. You're obviously well aware of what Golden State's been able to do the last few years in this league. What kind of challenge do they represent, and how much do you relish the challenge of going up a team with that kind of pedigree?
I mean, you know, they're one of the greatest teams in history, right? I think, what is this, 5 straight finals for them? There's not a whole lot of teams that have done that. So that's about all you need to say right there. And I think they've got certainly some big-time star, you know, power, right? A number of star players. I think they've got some great athletic, energetic role guys and bench guys that come off the bench, and obviously they've got a experienced coach who's won a lot, right? Not only as a coach but as a player. So it will be a tall task, but we'll try to figure it out.
Thanks very much, everyone.
All right, thanks a lot.